Hi, this is Nirup. Thanks for being here. This talk is about one practical idea, which is to make compliance a built-in feature of how we design and run systems. So in financial services, the scale is huge and trillions of dollars move every day. So when a system pauses, even for a moment, real people feel it and the cost climbs fast. So our aim is simple, a system that rarely fails. And when they do, they recover quickly and leave a clean trail of evidence as they go. So that way, teams move faster with confidence and customers feel safe. The proof we need is created as part of normal work. So if that's the goal, let's ground it to the world we all live in. The financial services challenge. So here's the reality. So millions touch real balances and real trust. People expect services to be there whenever they need them. And so threats move fast and patience is short. And when something goes wrong, the cost shows up in both money and reputation. That's why incident management cannot sit on the sidelines. It sits where reliability, regulation, and brand meet. An incident is not only technical, it can also be business and regulatory. Our methods must respect all three at once. So, how do we make a safe path also an easy path? So, that's where the modernization comes. So, why cloud modernization now? Modernization is not only go faster, it is set better defaults. So when the safe path is also the fast path, teams stop negotiating and start building. So we use repeatable patterns for networks, identity, storage, and compute. We put clear rules in the build and release steps so risky changes never reach customers. We keep unchangeable logs so the system can tell its own story later. The result is fewer surprises and calmer operations. Quick proof from the field, then we keep moving. So we moved to a fragile service into a landing zone with strong guardrails, same team, same code. The next instant did not feel like a fire drill gone wrong. It felt like a drill we had already practiced. We knew what changed, when it changed, and the safe path back. That's the power of good defaults. Now let's talk about compliance as a built-in advantage. So think of compliance like seatbelts designed into a performance car. And the car still moves fast, but safety is part of the experience from the start. For us, that means approved reference designs, reusable building blocks, and evidence that is created automatically during day-to-day work. So reviews get shorter, and then rework drops, and releases become more predictable. Customers notice our stability, and regulators notice clarity, and then leaders see steady delivery. This isn't extra paperwork; it's the system proving itself while we build it. If compliance is a feature, what rules are we encoding? Let's map the landscape here. So rules are a map of what society cares about. Some focus on accurate reporting and fair markets, some on privacy and proper use of data, some on banking safety and open payments. Newer ones focus on operational resilience and responsible use of learning systems like AI. We do not need to memorize like every chapter. And each theme into code and steps, label and protect sensitive data from the start. Plan failovers and practice them and keep records a person outside the team can understand in minutes. With the clear data, let's look at how in our architecture. So let's take a look at the hybrid and multi-cloud strategies. Architecture is where promises become real, right? So we manage policy and visibility across the company while keeping sensitive customer data in the region where it belongs. That respects data rules without losing control. We design for small blast radius, clear boundaries between services, sensible timeouts, retries, and fast ways to switch off risky features. So we practice failovers until they become boring. For the most critical systems, we run so live in more than one place. For others, we keep one backup that can take out quickly. So one picture to lock it in, then we'll kind of dive into two examples, right? So think of a highway. Each service has its own lane with dividers and a shoulder. If a tire blows in one lane, the road doesn't shut down. Those drivers and shoulders are your boundaries, timeouts, retries, and feature switches. Now, three short stories that kind of shows this in action, right? So, regulatory reporting. Reporting moved from overnight batches to real time streams. Instead of finding delays tomorrow, we saw them in minutes. Each step wrote an unchangeable record. So the audit story was already there. So reports that took like days ran in minutes. Audit prep that took weeks took days. So when a delay happened, we could point to the exact stage that can slow down or show what was affected and prove when recovery has finished. So the accuracy went up and the cost went down and the trust improved. All right, let's take a look at the next case study. So basically, we wanted to stop bad transactions without bothering good customers. The turning point was managing the whole model lifecycle, not the score. So the data it uses like kind of stayed fresh. So any change needed the right approvals. So if a new version misbehaved, we could return to the last good version with just one decision. And we could explain what changed and why. So file alarm dropped, losses dropped, and investigators chased better signals. We have another so the last example here. This is like speed and discipline in trading. So this case study, so surveillance moved from after the fact to real time, and limits were enforced as orders flowed. So unusual patterns were flagged as they happened. So the records of these checks traveled side by side with the trades. So in a market system did not ask for a meeting. It followed a safe playbook. So incidents were shorter and reviews were clearer. And confidence from the business and from regulators improved. So following these three case studies, so what makes these wins repeatable? Foundation of all this is on the next slide. Infrastructure, as write down how environments must look and let the platform build them from that description. So new environments run aligned to standards. Identity is set correctly. Networks are segmented the right way. Storage is locked as intended. Changes happen through a clear review instead of one-off tweaks. If something goes wrong, returning to a good known state is quick because the platform knows what good looks like. The rules next configuration and the application. What changed and why, and all these questions is interesting faster and auditors see the exact history. Now let's put safety rules into daily. Instead of quarterly checklists, we place rules directly into the build and release steps and into the platform. If a setting would expose a data or open a risky path, it does not pass. The system explains which rule was violated and how, and shows the approved pattern. Right? This turns long review meetings into fast, clear feedback while the work is still in progress. Most issues are caught in minutes. Platform also creates detailed timestamp record of what's fired and who changed what and how it was fixed. These kind of records is like gold for audits and for learning after the instance. So let's anchor this in daily habits. So bring checks earlier in the development. When fixes classify data and apply privacy controls by default, so sensitive information is handled correctly without express. Keep logs in a way that cannot be quietly rewritten. Rehearse resilience like a fire drill, so failures and emergency moves feel familiar and not scary. Product feels solid to customers and the platform feels sane to operate. Launches are smoother and incidents are fewer. Time spent proving compliance shifts towards improving the customer. Even things break on motion. So the instant management and compliance. So basically, just keep it steady. Practice. We practice it all. Just keep it steady. Confirm the signal and decide how serious it is. Start a clean log right away. Pause risky change paths. Use pre-approved moves like switching off a feature or limiting a traffic or failing out to a safe location. Communicate in plain language to right people. So while you work, let the system collect facts, current settings, recent changes, who had access, key measurements, and the trace of what, what and who, etc. And don't call it fixed until the service holds steady for a meaningful win. This protects customers and creates evidence to explain what happened and why the fix worked. What does this buy us? What does this actually buy us? So let's talk about the outcomes, the actual outcome or the business impact. So when safety and compliance are part of the platform, new environments come online quickly and predictably. Recovery is faster and less dramatic. Conversations with regulators are clearer because your evidence is produced as part of normal work. Customers notice reliability, leaders see momentum, and every incident becomes a chance to improve platforms. After the fix works, promoted to the shared template so the next team never meets the same problem. Over time, speed, reliability, and audit readiness race together instead of fighting with each other. So, what should you do the next week? Right? Start with one visible win. Pick a single painful control that burns time or creates friction. Automate it from end to end and place it inside golden paths that teams can use right away. Make the path the fastest way to production, not just the most compliant way. And give the path an owner and a short public list of improvements. Each month, measure a few signals of how often you met your service promise and how long it takes to recover, how many changes caused trouble, and how many hours you saved in audit work. Share the trend so people can see progress. Then repeat it the next high value control. It's really simple. Okay, that brings us to the end of our presentation. Remember, reliability and compliance are not enemies. When we build safety into the path to production and practice our response, incidents become rarer, shorter, and safer. The story you tell regulators becomes the same story you tell engineers because both come straight from the system. Every time you improve the shared template, you give a gift to the next team and to the next customer. Let's make trust your advantage and move.